Quite a bit of activity this year so far. East Hudson meetings, we've had 4 of them in East Hudson. I was, as of yesterday morning, I was designated the secretary of East Hudson again to that organization. A sewer line, a lot of activity on the sewer line from the Pawling Joint Sewer Commission. I attended a meeting yesterday morning up in the Majority Leader's office in Albany. I was contacted on Monday to be in Albany at 9:30. Yesterday morning, went up. We met with Mr. Malika, who is the head of finance for the Majority Leader. And Mr. Malika stated that we did get an additional $500,000 for the sewer line, so that's $1 million. And they're looking at funding $2 million in this year's budget process. So we'll be up to $3 million on the project. And they were very happy with what was going on and how we're moving forward. At the meeting was the senator. Greg really did an excellent job of getting everybody there at the last minute. Greg and I spoke about a bunch of things for a few minutes privately about some of the grants he did with the baseball field and things like that. But John Gottlieb from Castagna had a small group with him. Jim Coughlin, who's the comptroller for Dutchess County, was there to show the support from Dutchess County on the project. And then Greg had a bunch of his staffers there as well. So we really spent only about 15 minutes with Mr. Malika, but it was a very well meeting, and we got another $500,000 out of it.
And that's grant. That's not.
That's straight out money. Correct. Straight out money. So Greg, the Senator Greg Ball, I really appreciate all his work and conveyed that to him yesterday. So, moving on, Chamber of Commerce. Peter's here. Thank you. Pawling Matters. As you know, last month Peter took some pictures of us, and do not let this out of your sights because you all have copies of the Pawling Matters that has not hit the newsstand yet, right? Correct. So
it's available on the website.
Yeah. So you all have that. Thank you very much for that. 2 great articles in there. Economic Development. Peter, Rob, and myself, Rob Lifwin, unveiled to the committee, to the chamber, our economic development strategy of what we're doing. It's also noted in this document also. So a little reading pleasure. Copier. That's been a big part of our improvement. Well, first off, our computer system's in. Up and running, and
well, Kathy was smiling, so I knew.
Kathy was smiling. There are very little hiccups. Kathy had a little hiccup with Laserfiche, but it was all worked out. It was really when it was moved over to the new server. They had a couple things, so Kathy jumped on the phone and dealt with her things with Laserfiche. Got it done. We got the update finally for a year and a half now from BAS for the planning department, or for the building department, so they got their update. All the new equipment's in. Our speed on we're up to the 10 megs on our light tower, on our fiber. Things are quick, things are happening. We got rid of some old computers, we got some new stuff in. As you'll start to see from our office, you start to see more scanned documents. That's why I started this month saying the background information that I sent to everybody, like the recreation items. I can scan them in and I can send you all information now. So it makes it much nicer, much easier. And I'm going to try to do that earlier in the month as I get things that I put the packets together. So we get the background information, and then I'll print it out and have it here for everybody. So you can at least look at it ahead of time. So we move on with that. So everything's working well. Again, we attended the State of the County address, spoke with Chris Gibson. Big thing that's been going on in the office is New York State retirement has been inundating the office with information on a few of our employees that we continuously send information to. It is common practice that 2 or 3 people in their office sends my office or Jerry information on a request for something. And it's the same dang information, the only way to put it. So between Todd, I, and Jerry will comply, send it up to them, and then we get another letter they need the same information, like they've never received it. So we just copy it and send it back up to them. This is happening more and more until late last week we had an issue where they wanted the same information from a highway department member. Actually 2 of them. And just to let you all know, we got a little testy with them. Because we're tired of sending additional information all the time to them. And the guy sent back a nice reply that sometimes different people see things or don't see things and not really sharing things. So we're just getting to a point where we're spending hours and hours and hours fulfilling these requests, these same requests. On the other side, we have a payroll audit from Dutchess County Human Resources, and there's probably about 25 hours worth of work that they want in there. Because of our payroll system going down last year, the computer crash, a lot of things happened. We had to input the 2011 information prior to our audit last year that we cleaned up a lot of stuff from the thing. Now we got to go through and we have a stack of forms that is literally about 2 inches thick that we have to handle for Dutchess County Human Resources. So we're trying to take the letters down and doing all that. Todd went out and met with Gina and with Barbara, the new girl since Gina was promoted. A lot of things that Gina had told us, Kathy can contest to this, that how we hired people is now we need to possibly rehire somebody because she's changed her parameters and her thought patterns on how we should do things or not do things. So Kathy has an issue with Michael. We have an issue with Lily about how Gina instructed us to do something, and now she's pulling it back and retracting it. So we're spending hours on trying to comply to what needs to be done. So in the future months, I will keep you apprised of what we might need to do on different title of jobs, is what it is, and why Gina thought we could do something, we couldn't do something, and what she advised us was how she's retracting it. So,
did she just clarify things or straighten it?
Actually, Kathy first, and then I'll refer to Todd.
Sorry.
So, no, Kat.
Well, I was of the understanding that because our handbook says that anything under 35 hours is full-time, that we could increase Michael's hours to more than 17 and a half hours a week. But when I called Gina to talk to her about it, she said, no, that's incorrect. Under 35 hours a week is for benefits only, not for payroll. So, some of the hours, I guess, that we have funded for Michael, unless we change something, we're not going to be able to have him work on that full time.
Okay.
And this is directly where you work directly with Gina on that one when we hired Michael. So it's and then under the legislative aid position, we were told that the position could only work up to 18 hours a week. And if it worked more than that, or any other duties were given, then the previous person in that seat would have to be able to come back to the seat. Now she's telling us that no, that's not the case. That title could work at any hours that the board deemed necessary, and can do any duties that the board deems necessary. So it's like
She's sending all this in writing to you?
we did ask for that,
Yeah.
and we haven't seen it yet. So
well, part of the problem is Barbara's on vacation. She left on Friday. She'll be in New Orleans for the next 3 weeks, I believe, doing mission work. Gina seems to be overwhelmed in her new position because she's still partaking in her old duties. And compliance issues seem to change on a daily basis with her. So if you want a good interpretation, you almost have to pick the day that you know you're going to get what you want to hear.
Well, I wouldn't take any action. You have stuff in writing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and we're not going to. That was our game plan. We kind of talked about it, Kathy and I talked about it. We're going to do nothing until we get it in black and white from her. And we're going to keep going, doing what we're doing. It's funny because when Todd came down from his orientation meeting with them, his educational meeting, he talked with the county clerk. The county clerk has the same issues with her. So we were...
So that'll get resolved.
It's going to get resolved.
But,
So from the higher...
For titles, for payroll purposes, a part-time employee, based on a 35-hour work week, only work 17 and a half hours. You can't do... And if you go over, what happens is, if you take the 17 and a half hours and multiply it by 52 for the 52 weeks, that number of hours is all that employee can work. So, say it came out to 1,000 hours. If you can get your employee to work 1,000 hours in the first 3 months, then they're off for the next 9, because they're part-time employees. They run out of hours, they're out of hours.
And that was never the case before, what Gina told us. So I just wanted you all to be aware that there's issues, and we're trying to work on it. And it's putting a lot of strain on the 18 hours that Todd's here. It really is between the state, night shift, between New York State retirement. It is just putting a strain on the time. Yeah. So a lot of it is. So, but moving on, the last couple things is we've been working with Verizon and Nextel, terminated all Nextel stuff, moved into Verizon contracts, and saving a ton of money, and moving on. Keep it.
Working on